All right, so what if I told you that the biggest mysteries on our planet aren't way out in space, but are actually right here, literally under our feet? Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating text called The Chronicle of Shasta. It basically maps out this secret high-tech network that's supposedly pulsing just beneath the Earth's surface. So let's take a tour of this hidden planetary grid, shall we?
I mean, listen to that. They are already here, beneath our feet. This one line just completely flips the script, doesn't it? The whole idea isn't about looking up and waiting for visitors from the stars. No, it's about the possibility that they're already here, living in a world hidden just beneath our own.
Okay, so let's really get into it. The core idea in this chronicle is that our planet is essentially, well, it's wired. It's got this super advanced network that's part technology and part spirit. And if it's real, it could completely change how we see everything.
So where do we start our tour? Well, we begin at what the Chronicle calls the system's Grand Central Station, Mount Shasta, right in California. Now forget what you think you know. This isn't just some dormant volcano. According to the text, it's actually a massive, multi-dimensional starship, perfectly camouflaged, that acts as the main grounding rod for all the high-frequency energy pouring into the Pacific Rim.
And you gotta ask, right? What's powering a hub like that? Deep down, at its very core, there's something called the Telosian Heart. The story goes it's this master crystal placed there by some ancient architects, and it's constantly emitting this low piezoelectric hum. You know, think of it like the tiny quartz crystal in your watch. It creates a steady, predictable electrical pulse. And that pulse, that frequency, is described as the very heartbeat of this entire planetary network.
Okay, so if Shasta is this giant cosmic terminal, that begs the question, who's running the place? Let's take a look inside this crystal mountain and see what we find.
Way down, 5 miles deep beneath the mountain, is this incredible domed city called Telos. And get this, it's not built from stone or metal. The Chronicle says it's made of psychoreactive crystal. What does that even mean? Well, it means the buildings, the very structures of the city, aren't built with tools. They are literally grown into existence by the focused intention of the people who live there.
So who are these inhabitants with these incredible abilities? The Chronicle breaks it down into 3 main groups. First, you've got the Lemurians. They're described as these 7 to 9 foot tall survivors from the sunken continent of Mu. Then there are the Pleiadians, who are apparently genetic cousins of the Lemurians, and they use Shasta as a kind of diplomatic embassy. And finally, you have the Venusians, who are described as these etheric beings that transmit concepts of science and art directly into human consciousness. Quite the crowd, huh?
All right, so from Shasta, how do we get around? The Chronicle talks about something called the tube system. Think of it as a network of high-speed electromagnetic tunnels. So, let's hop on board and take the first leg of our tour to uncover some of America's hidden history.
First stop, Mount Rushmore. Now, we all know the official story, right? It's this incredible national memorial, a tribute to 4 presidents carved between 1927 and 1941, a real symbol of American history. But what if that's just the cover story?
Because according to the Chronicle, the monument is really just camouflage, a clever disguise for a massive, subterranean cavern called the Hall of Shields. And inside this hall, ancient weaponry, designed specifically to defend the North American section of the grid. I mean, this is a perfect example of the book's whole theme. What you see on the surface is almost never the real story.
Okay, next up on our tube ride, we arrive at the Grand Canyon. You know, the geological marvel. Science tells us it was carved out by the Colorado River over millions and millions of years. A beautiful story of slow, natural erosion.
But of course, the Chronicle presents a very different history. It claims the canyon is actually a kind of resort and a massive archive for a star race from Sirius. And here's the kicker. These are supposedly the very same beings who once governed the Nile Delta. The idea is that there are artifacts hidden there that link the Grand Canyon directly to ancient Egypt. Wild, right? So, we've seen a couple of key spots in America, but this thing is global. Let's zoom out now and see how this incredible network connects the entire planet. This is absolutely crucial to understanding the whole system. You have Mount Shasta on one side and the Giza pyramids on the other. The Chronicle describes them as 2 poles of a single planetary system, like a giant battery. Shasta is the spirit, the feminine, yin principle. It's the primary entry point for all this high-frequency energy. Giza, on the other hand, is the form, the masculine, yang principle. It's the anchor that grounds all that energy into our physical world.
So the big question is, how do these two key points talk to each other? The process that's described is just, well, it's incredible. It starts in Tibet, where monks use these very specific harmonic chants called sound keys to basically open a physical connection to Shasta from thousands of miles away. Once that connection is open, Shasta can then communicate instantly with Giza. And we're not talking radio waves here. It's supposedly done using faster-than-light scalar waves.
And it's not just Shasta and Giza. This network is all over the place. The Chronicle points to other major global nodes, and each one has its own unique job. You've got Tibet, which we just mentioned, home of those sound keys. Then Easter Island, where the giant Moai statues are supposedly antenna-tracking cosmic visitors. The Amazon's legendary cities of gold? The book says they're actually galactic genetic libraries. Stonehenge is a focusing lens for energy being routed across the Atlantic. And way down in Antarctica, that's a storage facility for ancient tech left behind by a builder race.
Wow. Okay, so we've taken a quick tour of this incredible, hidden network all across the globe, but it all leads to one huge question. What is it all for? What's the ultimate purpose? Well, the Chronicle builds to this absolutely stunning conclusion, something it calls the Great Activation.
Yeah, what is the purpose of this vast hidden network? I mean, why build something so complex and keep it a secret for so long? The answer the Chronicle gives, well, it pretty much reframes everything we've just talked about.
And here it is. This is the real shift in perspective. These nodes, they are not separate places. They are acupuncture needles in the body of Gaia. So it's not just about technology or communication. Think about it that way. These sites are like acupuncture points, carefully placed all over the planet to prepare the Earth itself for a massive healing event. So, this is the grand finale, the whole point of the network. It's all waiting for the Great Activation. The prophecy says there's going to be a massive solar flash, a cosmic event that will literally ring that master crystal in Shasta like a giant bell. And when that happens, a signal will race through the entire grid, instantly upgrading Earth's vibrational frequency and, this is the big one, awakening dormant potential that's been sleeping inside all of humanity.
And with that, our tour comes to an end. The Chronicle of Shasta lays out this absolutely epic story of a world hidden within our own, a living, breathing network that it claims is just waiting for us to remember a forgotten frequency. It's a mind-bending idea for sure, and it leaves us with one final really provocative question to think about. What if it's right?